it's bull or bear, I don't care. It's quite a rough ride, just like life. But I'm kind of patient, 'cause only time will tell. It's gonna go up, so you better stay calm. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins.
What's up? Good evening, everybody. It's the Crypto Crow, and it's about 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I know it's it's been almost a week, I think, since I've been on YouTube, been live. And you guys know I've got a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff going on. Wednesday should be a really big day, so I'm just trying to get through it all. It's so funny because, I think a year ago, I said, cryptocurrency and kind of the position that we're in, being at the forefront of this revolution of disruption, this, era of internet 3.0 or 4.0 or whatever you want to call it. There's so much opportunity to help people accumulate and learn and get educated about a variety of different things. And, there's so much opportunity still. Think about it. When the .com bubble was happening, you had a good solid, year or two, where, everything was new. Just an endless supply of new ideas, countless dollars invested into a multitude of different projects and websites and web businesses and so forth. And, while it's not as big of a boom right now, there's still new websites, new technologies, new things happening all the time. And I feel like cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, this whole thing has really only just begun. And I think to myself, like I told you guys a year ago, now isn't necessarily the time to just sit around and wait, to sit around and watch. Now is the time to start something, to start a project, to build relationships, to get active in the crypto community, to do what you can to position yourself so that if this is what you love, and this is ultimately what is driving you. The fact that you guys are here with me right now, I didn't schedule this. I didn't promote this. I didn't tell anybody, hey, I'm going live, come check me out. Obviously YouTube's notification thing hardly ever works because everybody tells me. And you guys are still here. All I did was hit go live just to kind of talk, and you guys are here. And the fact that you are here, and I miss all you guys too. I see the comments, but it's like now is the time that you guys should not just be learning, but doing. And I definitely took my own advice because I have been so stinking, just so much going on between Crow Trader, my algorithmic trading bot, Crow Mining. We've been doing insanely well in selling miners. There has been a 30-day delay because of Samsung. Yay, Samsung. That wasn't fun. But luckily Amir, figured out a really cool way to resolve all of that. And while it's a setback in time and mining yield, it's better than nothing, because a lot of these guys would be spending $4 or $5 grand for the same damn miners they got for less than half of that. So while the situation sucks, it's still positive. I've got Crow's Nest X after a year of, it's amazing to me how everything you think is, you can plan out anything and know that it's going to take twice as long and cost twice as much. But you know, Crow's Nest X, man, I think it should be good. I do. I think it should be good. And it's like I'm always worried about what ifs. That's just my way. You know, I'm always worried about this or that. But good evening, Godfather. That's fun. Do I look like the Godfather tonight or something? No, that's not. That's something different. What am I thinking? How does the Godfather look? I guess it looks like me. Maybe because I have my gray in right now. I left it alone. Told my wife I don't want to dye it right now. But anyway, and the point to all this ramble is, and I had no extreme purpose for tonight's video. We're gonna hang out and I'm gonna talk and we're gonna go over some news and we're just gonna talk. I have a little paid thing that I'm gonna do that's not gonna be long at all. It's a little 0.1 Bitcoin little mini feature type thing. Just, you know, wasn't even planning on doing that, but I'm like, I might as well do it tonight while I'm here. There is some interesting news. There's some stuff going on, but I guess ultimately what I want to make sure that everybody kind of understands is that this is your opportunity, man. And if all you're doing is watching YouTube, yeah, my last video did get a little emotional, and I wasn't planning for that either. Greetings from Melbourne, Australia. Gosh, I love Australia. I love the accent. If I could pick any accent to have, it'd be Australian. I love the Australian, or even Scottish. I like the Scottish accent too, but that's just because I love Braveheart. Shut the hole under your nose, you stupid. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to go there. What's yo, Crow? Hope all is well. Good to be here with you and other members of the core crypto community. Rock on, crypto fam. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's cool to see everybody. Market Cipher, yeah, I'm using it, but not actively. Like, I'm not using it like Crypto Face does, obviously. I mean, that guy, I think he watches this all day long, you know, burning incense and, you know. I mean, you know, guys like Crypto Face are straight up traders. Like, this is what they do all day. I'm more of a businessman. So I conduct business all day, and then I do trading when I have time. So I'm still, actually I did get a message. I've been talking to a guy, wanting to work with me on a, kind of an ongoing, like a living course to take people from brand new to being able to trade, effectively using technical analysis across a multitude of different indicators, using Fibonacci, using Elliott wave, understanding candles and wicks and just all of it. And I haven't decided 100% if I'm going to do it, but because apparently he did this a while back and he was real successful, and then I don't know what happened. He got sick or something and he had to stop doing it, and now he wants to come back. I don't really know, and I'm still kind of finding out everything. I mean, he sounds like he knows his stuff, but I haven't really thoroughly vetted him yet. But ultimately, I did think it would be a really cool idea to do just a one website. Like, the whole website is about teaching people to trade. And in a really, I have a way that I ultimately would like the videos and things to be done. So we'll see. We'll see if that works out. But it is something that I think could be really fruitful and useful. So we will see. Do you think lunch with Justin Sun and Warren Buffett will cause the price of Tron to drop? Pump. Well, that's actually one of the things that I had, that I thought was interesting today, because he had pulled it out. He'd canceled. Tron founder Justin Sun cancels lunch with Warren Buffett due to health complications. Apparently he found, I guess he's got kidney stones. I don't know if it's, I mean, I assume it's true. I mean, Justin Sun looks like he's 16 years old, but I think he's like in his mid 30s. And I guess there's a good chance that, I guess now's the time that he could get kidney stones. I don't know if they're going to reschedule in the future or what. I would think he would. I mean, you don't spend $4.5 million on a lunch just to pull the plug days before it's supposed to happen and never reschedule. And, you know, on top of that, I don't understand, like, if for whatever reason he were not to reschedule, I would be shocked that he didn't just send a bunch of qualified people in his stead to go and meet with Warren Buffett and engage him on cryptocurrency. And if he doesn't, not even sure what to say about that. That's pretty silly. Me. I thought this was interesting, but I'll go through that a little. $85 million withdrawn from BitMEX amidst looming threat of CFTC investigation. Look, those of you who've been around and you've been watching me and you've been joining me in my, you know, whatever I'm doing on YouTube at the time, you guys know I said that this shit was going to be happening, and that was the whole point of me starting Crow's Nest X. And it's only going to get worse. Like, if you are trading on an exchange that, if it's not U.S. regulated and you're a U.S. customer, you're taking a big risk. Like, you're taking a big gamble, plain and simple, because anything could happen. Not only could anything happen to your money, anything could happen to your account. I don't see anybody, I don't see the U.S. government confiscating anybody's accounts or anything like that. But, you know, you're taking a big risk. And, you know, if you're a small trader, you're just playing around with $100 or a couple $100 or something like that, and it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, if you're trading with any significant capital and you're trying to avoid U.S. regulation, or you're trying to avoid taxes, you're trying to avoid any of that stuff, and you're going through overseas exchanges, first of all, if you're trading over $10,000, there are forms you have to file, or you could be in big trouble anyway. Because you can't really send that kind of money overseas and not report it. And if they find out, well, I mean, pandemonium could ensue. Look, when it comes to cryptocurrency, and I said this stuff a long time ago. I said, look, I get that everybody wants to be private, and I get that everybody wants to, they want to keep out from under the control of others, and I understand that, but that's no. Look, I hate the way, so this to me it's I don't know if double-edged sword is the right way of putting it, but I think there is so much corruption everywhere. I mean, and it doesn't matter what country you're in. There is so much corruption because human beings are fallible. Human beings can be greedy in a lot of different ways. Power hungry, just money. I mean, it's like when you try to break down the human psyche. I am such a straight shooter, and I always tell people I'm not smart enough to you know, be a prick all the time or to be super shady. I don't have that kind of mental energy. You know, I feel like it's an energy draining endeavor to be a shady individual, always scheming, always trying to plan not only how to screw people, but then how to get away with it and all that. You know, it's like, it definitely takes a certain type of person. But it also takes a certain type of person to put yourself in a position of power, to put yourself in a position where politically you have the power to change lives. For better or for worse, and then choose for worse, especially if that for worse stems from greed, from somebody paying you, from somebody giving you perks or benefits, or whatever the case may be. There's just something about that kind of mentality that I don't get. Like this Bernanke character. This is just watching him talk makes me sick to my stomach, because to me, like, his whole career, as I understand it, from what I've seen and read, he's basically a puppet for banking institutions. I mean, it's like, that's who his biggest donors are. That's who helps with all of his campaigns and all the shit that he does. He's a puppet. And it's like, I see these guys, especially guys like him, because you can just tell he loves to hear himself talk. He's the kind of guy who, if I were to see him eat, I would probably want to hit him. Like, and I know that sounds crazy. I have that thing, that disease, or that whatever you want to call it, where if I hear people eat, it makes me just want to like lose my mind. And sometimes if you watch people eat, it's really disturbing. And he's one of those people. Like if I were to watch that guy eat, it would probably disturb me. And I see guys like that who are just so manipulated and controlled by unseen forces, and they're so happy in their own skin. And in their own mind, I'm sure, they have a way of trying to justify their actions. That's the one common thing I see anytime there's corruption or dishonesty or whatever. It's people always being able to justify what they're doing in some way. Like, oh, it's okay because X. And it's just, I don't know, to me it's all such bullshit. And you know, I always thought, there was a time when I thought, oh, I need to get into politics. I need to get into politics, and not for any other reason than to really just take a ball bat to the majority of the people in there that absolutely need to get the fuck out. I mean, just to challenge each and every one of them and shine a spotlight on all of the shit that's going on behind the scenes. But I also realized that if I were to ever run for politics, you know, I would get so chewed up by all the dumb shit I've done as a kid. And you know, hell, there was one point I think I had like 36 points on my driver's license. You know what I mean? Like, I was just crazy. And it's like, you know, I had a wild youth. We used to go bridge jumping and you know, I don't know. We used to do all kinds of dumb shit. And I'm not couth. I'm not a politician. I'm not that perfect individual with the perfect hair, the perfect smile, and a super clean story. No, I'm a human being and I'm an American. But Americans don't want to vote for the people that are truly going to work for them. Americans want to feel like everything is A-okay, that they're being led by a super Christian, super religious, super perfect, has never done any wrong, 4.0 GPA. When the reality is the majority of the time, the people that have those metrics on a resume are absolutely fucked up individuals. They're just really good at hiding it. And they've learned how to do that since high school. That's not me. And if that didn't work out, and let's just say I were to ever run for some form of political office or whatever, I would be dead in a year. Like, somebody would take my ass out, because I would be that guy who would come in guns blazing, like, okay, it's time to get to the bottom of what's really happening. And I would be like public enemy number one in terms of politics, because I would probably end up being the biggest whistle-blowing son of a bitch, because I just hate the way all of this stuff is handled. I hate the way, I mean, you know, people see like you see the show, you know, Congress, you know, these congressional hearings with LBRY coin and all that. If you think for a second that these actually mean shit, you're nuts. These types of deals, these types of, you know, like the negotiations and it's nothing is ever done publicly. Like it's some people having a meeting in a room saying, this is what we want. You don't give it to us, this is what's going to happen. And then the result of that may be public, but the actual, like, the stuff that's going on is going on behind the scenes. It's almost like a WWE. Like, if you look at my Facebook and it says, you know, political views. I mean, for like, I don't know, as long as I've had my Facebook account, 20, 30 years, I said one big show for the public. That's all it is. It's one big show. It's like a carnival. And so, you know, the people that buy into that and they're watching that stuff and you know, it's just everybody being spoon-fed what they're expected to believe. And, you know, I'm totally just rambling, obviously, tonight. But, you know, I see this stuff, $85 million withdrawn from BitMEX, and it's like, you know, of course. it's people are uncertain as to what the regulations are going to become in the grand scheme of things, and everybody's concerned. You know, somebody I saw was it Charlie Lee said something like there's a chance that President Trump could just basically ban Bitcoin outright. Well, I got news for you. And I think I don't see that ever happening, because the reality of Bitcoin is that right now people are trying to be open and free with it. People are trying to use it, educate people on it. They're accepting of regulation. They're accepting of fair treatment. What the public, like you've got these assholes like Bernanke, or not Bernanke, what the hell? I can't even remember the dude's name. Like, he looks like Bozo without the red hair. He got the really long pointed face. Looked like somebody squeezed his head so that it would fit up someone's asshole without too much friction. You know, it's just kind of like, like when I listen to him talk and I'm thinking, okay, he's not even saying anything meaningful. And all he's saying is, oh, criminals use it. Criminals use it. This is all for Sherman. Yeah, this is all for criminals and money laundering and all of this other stuff. No, it's not. No, it's not. And the thing of it is that the people that listen to guys like him are the people that truly don't know any better. Are the people that don't really put any time into really understanding what the hell's actually going on. They listen to bobbing heads like him, who just really are saying stuff to collect his career, I guess you could call it, and just so that he goes out there and he just starts blabbing and talking a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like so many people listen to that, but it's not supported by the facts. I saw this. Where is it? Bitcoin darknet spending 800 times lower than fiat money laundering. This is an article from July 22nd. And they show it. Bitcoin contributes 800 times less value to the world's money laundering total than fiat, new data suggests. It's this simple, and you can track this stuff. The reality is it's a hell of a lot easier to launder money with fiat currency than it is Bitcoin. And if guys like Sherman had any sense at all, which, let's be real, it's not about sense, because it's about, you know, having the funds that you need when you need it, right? It's about sending that message to the public to let them know, hey, something's going on that's going to damage all the relationships that have been fueling my career for however long I've been in office, which I never really look, because quite frankly, I don't give a shit. And the numbers blatantly prove otherwise. And it doesn't really take long to find this stuff. The fact of the matter is that any fiat gateway, especially in the US, is regulated. It has AML KYC. You can't evade that. You can't escape that if you want your money out. The only thing you could potentially maybe do is if you were committing some sort of identity fraud. But even then, that it was soon to be investigated, I'm sure, at some point, because it's only a matter of time until stuff like that is discovered. So when I see guys like Sherman talk all this shit about how Bitcoin is for criminals, it's like, look, dude, I mean, Bitcoin may have been utilized for criminal activity during its inception, but what hasn't? I mean, hell, what is... When you think of the newest technology to hit the market, whether it's video technology, streaming technology, internet technology, whatever, what is the first industry to adopt it? Anybody? Any guesses? Prawn. They are at the forefront of technology at every turn, because it's people that are utilizing new things to cater to their individual vices that grows an industry. The same way you have, you know, people that are, they have this new technology, this new trustless cash system, this trustless, you know, system for sending money from point A to point B. And that is obviously going to be something that's going to be adopted by those who like the idea of sending value from point A to point B without it being hacked or changed or whatever. It's just it's the nature of things. And early on, because we didn't have all of the exchanges, we didn't have all of the systems in place that we do now and have continued to formulate over time, people sold drugs with it and did all kinds of stuff. And they allowed themselves to be paid in Bitcoin. But I got news for you. A lot of those guys are so freaking filthy rich nowadays, they don't have to do any of that shit anymore. I mean, a meth addict that was selling, methamphetamines on the dark web 4 years ago is likely a billionaire today. I don't think he's selling meth anymore. And I think that a lot of those people, to be quite frank, those early adopters, look, they're so stinking rich. If they had the sense to retain any of it and they didn't lose any of it, and the use case has obviously expanded well beyond that of drug dealers and money launderers. It's more and more difficult to even try and attempt those sorts of things with blockchain technology now. So when guys like Brad Sherman are out there still trying to push this narrative as if he's some sort of authority, I mean, he is. I mean, he's a politician. He has power, but he's not saying anything that's really, I mean, I guess it's not that he's not saying anything that isn't true, because it is true to an extent. But, I can say, well, people use Russian dolls to smuggle coke everywhere. Should we make those illegal to buy anywhere? I mean, it's just like, it's one of those arguments that is at this point so ridiculous that only somebody being paid and kind of controlled and pushed to say those things would be willing to look that ridiculous. And I mean, I guess that's, what do you do? What do you do? I don't even, it's so beyond ridiculous at this point. His claims are obviously proven false. But the problem is that only a select few individuals are watching content like this so that they can actually see, oh, Brad Sherman's actually wrong. For every dollar spent in Bitcoin, $800 in fiat is spent towards money laundering. It's just that simple. But the baby boomers and older, they're not seeing a lot of this stuff. They're seeing whatever these politicians are spewing all over these different shows. And that's a part of the problem is I want to be out there talking to people. I want to be out there and being able to counter a lot of this nonsense. And it's like a part of me even wonders, like, how much does Trump actually know about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies compared to what he's being told by other people, advisors, or others who are a part of this old network? Of course, they don't want to see this stuff thrive, but they also know that if they were to try and rule this with a complete and utter iron fist, it would be like trying to use antibiotics on a disease that just gets more and more immune to its effects, and then mutates and continues to grow outwardly. Kind of like big oil. When big oil, they tried to stamp out big oil by breaking it up, breaking up the monopoly. Well, what happened? Well, the Standard Oil basically broke up into like Standard Standard Texas, Standard, all these different regions of the country, further broken up by, all these other different company names. And then over time, they started to recollect. They basically made the company that much bigger and that much more powerful. And it's just like, you cannot take something with that kind of force and shut it down. Like, you're not going to be able to shut it down. And if the government were to try and somehow absolutely flat out ban Bitcoin, that would just be bad. And it wouldn't be bad for Bitcoin. Because at that point, technology and development would go into making Bitcoin absolutely private. There would be so many new technologies keeping Bitcoin from out of the eyes of the regulators or the police or whoever. I'm telling you, like, it would be The government's best way of dealing with this is to not fight it, but adopt it. Learn how to make it work for the country. And yeah, I get it. There are a lot of people out there who have been paying a lot of money to a lot of people to grease the wheels to get us into the financial pickle we're in today. Those people have had their due. And it's time. It's time to change. It's time to remove this old boys network, this old system, and replace it with something far superior. And I think whether or not they allow it or help it or try and adopt it or whatever, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're not going to fight this system. You're just not. Yeah. And it's like I hate it when politicians are knowingly doing bad. I hate when I see somebody that I look at them and I'm thinking all this stuff like, this dude got beat up all the time in school. This guy had a really rough childhood. So he grew up passively hating the world and everyone in it. He swore revenge. How did he figure out how to get revenge? Well, this guy, he became a local police officer. And now he's a total hard ass. And he's just a dick to everybody he pulls over because he has that power, that authority. This guy became a politician. And he loved the way it made him feel. And, on weekends, he runs around and he has these dominatrixes put him in diapers and tell him what a piece of dirty shit he is. And then he goes back to work on Monday and ruins the lives of everybody he can while he's making all this money on the backside from all these people that are fueling and funding him. That's what I see. That's what I see. And as ridiculous as it is, there's a hell of a lot more truth to a lot of that than you think. And the sad fact is that it's so rampant in politics and it's so rampant with people in positions of power. There's very little political oversight. And it's like, who regulates the regulators? Who controls the controllers? Where does the buck stop? And it's like, I absolutely think that people in politics nobody should be able to be in politics for 30 years. Nobody should be able to hold a position of power that long. Plain and simple. But things are going to change because when I look at a lot of the stuff going on in cryptocurrencies and I see the ebbs and flows of the price action based off of all this speculative investing and trading, and I think of where we were and where we are, and I think about where we're going to be, there's going to come a day when the majority of us, we're not even going to be looking at these price charts anymore because they're going to be irrelevant. Trying to chart the value of Bitcoin will someday be absolutely irrelevant because there is going to be no more charting because there's not going to be anything to chart it against. Fiat currency is on its way out, folks. I'm telling you, it is on its way out. There is going to be a day when it is going to be 100% crypto. The same way that all of these companies, the same way there have been so many different companies trying to push cryptocurrency down, trying to push Bitcoin down while they're either working on their own trading desk technology or they're working on this or they're working on that, whatever the case. Then all of a sudden, once everything is done, and they have everything that they were privately and secretly developing so that they could take advantage of this new technology, then all of a sudden it's cool and it's good and we're launching this service and that service. To be quite frank with you, I don't think the government's going to be any different. I think the government, like everything else, is late to the game. I think they want to regulate it first. Well, they want to tax it first. Then they want to regulate it. And then once they have a sufficient amount of control over the space, then hopefully they'll start to innovate with it. Who am I kidding? They're not going to innovate shit. They're going to pay somebody insane amounts of money to try and hopefully innovate. But whoever, as long as somebody's doing something positive, I think the overall note is it's just a matter of time. Like there's Bitcoin to me, like, I don't even really worry about the future. And some people say, okay, what if Bitcoin or what if cryptocurrency were to completely shut down the current money system? What would happen? And I think to myself, what if it did? What if blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Cardano, Ethereum, whatever, what if something happened and all of a sudden there was a crazy depression, a recession, whatever you want to call it. And then all of a sudden, everybody and their brother started figuring out, I need to get into Bitcoin. Because I tell you, it's happening. It's coming. And when that does happen, people are going to be forced. I mean, let's face it. I mean, the reality is, where's my drink? The reality is, the sooner we get to a position where we have Bitcoin ATMs on every corner, the sooner we have banks enabling cryptocurrency transactions, which that's coming. Don't let these banks fool you. Just because all these big companies are holding out right now and they're trying to make it difficult and they're closing this account and they're closing that account because you're in crypto, whatever. Trust me, it's going to be a boomerang effect. What they're trying to send away now to try and slow this process down because the order's coming from the top, and by the top I don't mean the president, that's all going to change someday. It's all going to change someday because there's going to come a day when you're going to start seeing your biggest bank, your biggest brands pushing. Jason is censoring certain terms. I see. I think Brandon's drunk. I'm not sure. You're not making any sense at all. So what was I saying? I don't remember what the hell I was saying. When will banks sell Bitcoins? I don't think banks are going to sell Bitcoin. I don't think they're going to sell Bitcoin because that's not really banks aren't stores. Banks will sell services to enable you to either custody or use, transfer, just like anything else. And because of the nature of Bitcoin, banks are not going to be like, oh, well, nope, not drunk, apparently. Banks are not going to, and I'm playing with this little thing. I'm shaping it into a bunch of different shapes. Bitcoin is the bank. So banks aren't going to say, oh, well, we're going to help you transmit it, or we're going to help you send it somewhere. They're going to come up with other things that they're going to be able to profit from. Or they might go away altogether. Absolutely. They might. But banks are going to be around for a long time. I mean, still. I am being censored with some of my stuff not popping up on your screen. Oh, I don't know. I'd have to check the chat logs and things. Some things are, I don't know. So, yeah, this whole thing is kind of one big, long thing, and I'm not really done yet, but I figured now is a good time to go and talk about these guys a little bit. Phantom. They paid me 0.1 Bitcoin to tell you about them. It actually does look kind of interesting. I don't know. They might be coming back, and I saw I've seen a bunch of YouTubers talking about this. I see a lot of them. They're not even disclosing that they're being paid, but I know they are because I did. And I don't really think YouTubers talk about specific projects unless they're being paid to, because I know who majority of them are, and I know their mentality, and if you aren't paying them something, they're probably not going to talk about it. But I thought this was actually pretty interesting. I mean, overall, it's the kind of project that they're what's up, Crypto Bit Sam? It had a little video, I could play it. Media partnerships. I know they're getting ready to come out with some big announcements, and I know that this is one. Phantom Foundation to start its operation in the UAE following a partnership with the private office of Sheikh Saeed bin Ahmed Al Maktoum. I have no idea if I just butchered that or not, but anyway, you can find that article on there. Let me partner. Phantom is a distributed ledger technology stack. At its foundation, it is a DAG-based distributed ledger incorporating new methods of scalability combined with a high-performance virtual machine and safe, secure smart contract execution. These guys are, I've seen a lot of different stuff like this. And it's not to say that it's not great. It's not potentially a really good idea, but this is the type of thing that it takes time, because these guys are going to have to continue really building partnerships. And one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of these companies, especially if they have really solid scalability and network speed, transactional speed, and low fees, they're going after countries. They're trying to help establish the infrastructure necessary for countries, which is really one of the things I really would love to see Cardano doing. And I know that they kind of are, but in a bit of a different way. I feel like Cardano, and you know, I never really said, just based off of my assumptions, it's like, you know, some of these projects like Phantom are going from the top down. Cardano's starting from the bottom up. You know, we'll see which one, you know, works out. I guess it could go both ways. It could work either way. Smart cities is a really clever idea. Smart cities, Phantom DAG platform is uniquely positioned to become the IT infrastructure backbone for smart cities. With the ability to collect large quantity, high-speed data transmission with scalable solutions across multiple smart city service providers. By 2020, it is estimated that smart cities will have 90 billion IoT devices sending data that needs to be stored securely, whilst also being accessible to stakeholders for smart city data-driven smart contracts and application. A lot to it. I'll probably end up diving deeper into this in the future. I'll put this video up and while I go over chat. That's enough. There's nothing really to their thing, so I'll go deeper than this, deeper into this maybe someday in the future. I mean, basically, if this thing could potentially do a whole lot of stuff, but you know, check it out. The nervous system for smart cities. I actually kind of like projects like this, to be quite frank with you, but without having dove really deep into it and understanding exactly how the cryptocurrency or the tokens are being utilized. You know, I haven't done any metrics or anything like that. It was just basically a little cheesy. Not cheesy. I just looked at the chat and saw the word cheesy as I was talking. Too much cheesy. It's all royalty-free music. Nobody wants to pay copyright for using YouTube songs on information videos. But anyway, Phantom, check it out. Phantom.foundation.com if you're interested, and maybe I'll go into this a little deeper in the future. Looking at my Twitter feed, I can always tell, I think, when somebody's trying to hack my Twitter, because then I get a response and it wants my two factors and all that stuff. I have to redo. Have you ever had a silly spat with a romantic partner about a TV series? That's Matt Staggs. He actually helps with booking, talent booker for Joe Rogan, and I need to get everybody to just like slam him. Like, dude, you need to get Crow on. I'm doing everything I can. I can't even get Matt's attention. I mean, I don't know if he knows what I'm trying to do and just doesn't give a shit, or I don't know what it is. But he's had some guests on there that I would argue I would have been a much better guest for a multitude of reasons than some of these people. But you know, it's whatever. Everybody has a voice for a different thing. I saw one guy on there. I won't say any names, but he was like a cocky kind of a. I don't know. I was like, this dude's a douche. But anyway, what am I looking for? Yeah, 89 retweets. I can't even get 1,000 retweets. That sucks. That sucks, people. Rebutting politicians' Bitcoin money laundering claims. Oh, I didn't even read all. Sherman fueled a general backlash among the cryptocurrency industry on social media with posts appearing which showed the extent of his and others' misguidedness. The congressman, so he's a congressman, had claimed $76 billion was laundered in Bitcoin annually. I mean, shouldn't there be, like, I don't know, man. It's just like, how do these guys get away with all this stuff? And they're just never checked. And it's like, you know, freedom of speech, I get it, but that's not really freedom of speech, is it? Like, I don't know. You should not be able to... Pierre Rochard, one of cryptocurrency's more outspoken proponents, subsequently cited research from blockchain firm Chain Analysis, which conversely concluded the figure was tiny, with 2017's total reaching just $660 million. Fellow commentator Morgan Creek Digital co-founder Anthony Pompliano, I know I said that wrong, noted that $2 trillion of USD is laundered per year, more than 6.5 times the entire cryptocurrency market cap. It's all just reaching, folks. That's all it is. And here's the thing. This is the reason why I actually love it. Sometimes it frustrates me. It frustrates me to hear all the negativity and the bullshit and the lies and just, you know, you see right through these guys and their agendas. Like they're so transparent about it. And what's up, Crypto Terp? Haven't seen you in a little while. They're so fake. I mean, they really are. They're so fake. And it's just, I don't know. It's all nonsense. But in the grand scheme of things, these guys wouldn't be out here saying that shit if there wasn't something for them to be worried about. And really, if they would just utilize the stuff and they would just put it to work, they wouldn't have as much to be worried about. You know, everybody could benefit right now if they just pulled their heads out of their... I mean, a lot of these guys could take, you know, some of their contributions, put it into Bitcoin right now, quadruple it. They wouldn't even need contributions for the rest of their career, and then they can actually do some damn good for the people. Why is that such a difficult thing to understand? Pretty much everything. You know, so I feel like, you know, a lot of these guys that love to hear themselves speak the most, like, I hate my voice. Me hearing myself talk for too long, I start getting like a headache and pressure in my ears. I'm not even lying. Guys that really love to hear themselves talk like he does, and you could tell when I was watching this congressional thing, and I didn't even know, like, I knew who he was. I'd seen him in the past, but I heard somebody start talking, and I'm like, who's this motherfucker think he is? And I looked at it as this Sherman dude. And I'm like, oh, this guy. Because he just started talking like he was the voice everybody was waiting to hear because he's an authority on all things ridiculously stupid and total bullshit. And I was just kind of like, wow, this dude's quite the character. Like, he really thinks highly of himself. But anyway, Grayscale, the digital asset manager, which last week revealed its stronger quarterly inflows in a year, believes that a generational shift in investment patterns will drive trillions of dollars into Bitcoin in the coming decades. Well, no shit. I mean, I don't even think it's going to take decades. I think 5 years from now, one Bitcoin, oh my God. I'm telling you guys right now, man, 5 years from now, one Bitcoin, not going to ever have to work again. As I tell everybody should have at least one Bitcoin. It's my own personal opinion, not financial advice. I don't want Sherman coming after me because I said he was ugly. But yeah, realistically, I feel like everybody should have one Bitcoin that they're sitting on that's just locked away somewhere and you don't even think about it again. Because I believe that right now, if you are able to acquire one Bitcoin, by the time you're at retirement age, you will not have to worry about another dollar. That's what I think. Yeah, it's like I'm weird about talking too much about politicians because you never know, man. It's like that's the thing. They revel in some of their power. And it's just like, especially when you know you're dealing with a total troll douchebag, you don't know what the extent they're willing to go to try and shut you up or get revenge. Like, I'm nobody. I'm just somebody on YouTube. So it'd be pretty petty for somebody to ever try and create problems for me. But you never know. Some of these guys are truly just dark losers. And it's like, they just shouldn't even be in office, man. They just shouldn't be representing the public. They shouldn't be. Look, it's one thing if you truly believe that cryptocurrency is somehow a dark and seedy venture, a dark and seedy technology. If you truly believe that, okay then, fair enough. But I can tell by watching, let's just say, guys like him speak, they don't really believe that. I don't think he really does. I don't think he believes it at all. He knows exactly what he's saying and why. And, let's face it. It's all a crock. It's all a crock of shit. And because it's very easy to look at this technology and understand why. And I mean, look, if you're smart enough to be a congressman, if you're smart enough to get political position like that, you should be smart enough to do some due diligence and understand the technology you're trying to push down so hard. And really truly understand that this isn't about criminal activity. This isn't about money laundering. Look, I know there are sites like local Bitcoin sites or whatever. I think it's almost like little peer-to-peer transfers. Something along those lines. They're like, it's not like an exchange, but it is an exchange. I don't know. I've never used one. I've never even went to one, but I know what they are. And there's a lot of, Sherman took money from Allied Wallet, which is payment processing network. Look it up. Well, I'm about to turn this fan on. Let me see what you talking about there, buddy. Blue Fig. Allied Wallet. Well, I don't even know what Allied Wallet is. Never even heard of it. You mean like a lobbying type of thing? This is from 2018. Oh, God, there it is. Ooh. Wow. Who called crypto crock gets most donations from Allied Wallet. Sherman, Bitcoin has no social benefit. Spoke fast and clumsily at the beginning of his introductory remarks. It's difficult to tell whether his most infamous statements during the March 14th crypto hearing were on behalf of or in the stead of. Nevertheless, Sherman's first read statements caught the attention of the cryptoverse because of their apparent harshness. The California congressman called cryptocurrencies a crock that allow a few dozen men in my district to sit in their pajamas on the couch all day and tell their wives they're going to be millionaires. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. What's funny is he kind of does see, like, yeah, that's true because it's exactly what I did. I don't think I was in my pajamas, though. I was probably in my underwear. I don't own pajamas, Sherman. See, you're wrong, man. You don't know shit, dude. Nevertheless, okay. Ouch. And that was just Sherman getting started. He later went on directly assert that cryptocurrencies hurt the U.S. government. But in light of Sherman's leading... I need to, like, blow up the text. It's hard for me to... Hold on. Hold up. All right. courtesy of OpenSecrets.org. If you check Sherman's profile summary, you'll see that his largest source of money in the ongoing election cycle comes from individuals affiliated with Allied Wallet. Allied Wallet is a self-described global payment gateway that lets users digitally accept and transact in in other words, it's precisely the kind of business model that Bank of America recently noted could be disrupted by cryptocurrencies. Okay. Oh my gosh. My lawyer is sending some article somewhere was removed. So yeah, this is interesting. I mean, but see, that's the kind of thing, man. When politics is just dictated by money, it's like, how do these people even get voted in? So the next election is 2020. California District 30, like, need to make it a point to make sure that anybody but this guy gets back in. Cash on hand, $2.1 million. Campaign committee fundraising for 2019 and 2020. Last report on 6/30/2019. Oh, wow. Capital One Financial. Carpenters and Joiners Union. Machinists, Aerospace Work. Mortgage Bankers. Source of I'm not seeing. I don't know anything about this. I mean, where's Allied Wall? I'm seeing a lot of tiny little. He's got like $14,350 grand total of contributions Sherman has reported in the current elections. So what does he get it all at the last minute or so? I don't know how this stuff works. Honestly, I don't know how this stuff works. I want to give birth to Charles Hoskinson. Well, luckily for you, you won't have to do that because he's already here. $1,000 gets you a metrics and earns you whatever. So I'm wondering if I contribute $5,000 to his campaign, will he say something good about crypto? Like, could I pay this politician to promote my exchange, maybe? Could I get him to say something nice about it? Like, how much does it cost to buy a politician exactly? Pack contribution. See, I don't understand. And that's the thing. Like, do they have to like reveal every dollar? Do they just have to reveal a little bit of it? That's the stuff I don't understand. I mean, I'm sure politicians created whatever the rules are. So, I mean, who knows? He's got $2 million cash on hand, but he's only shown 14,000. Oh, this is all bullshit. I don't know. It's not telling me anything. I don't believe any of it. Like, I'm just so jaded when it comes to politicians and finances. It's all crock! But anyway, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not. Look, for all I know, outside of politics, he could be a hell of a guy. I don't know, but I doubt it. I mean, my guess is he kind of reminds me of the dude from The Simpsons. Forget his name. The mean ass rich guy. I can't even remember his name. Anyway, enough about Sherman's, whatever. I mean, guys on his mission. Did you guys see what I traveled back in time? That was me. I'm a time traveler, and that's how I knew to start my YouTube channel and get into Bitcoin. Mr. Burns, that's right. Smithers was his assistant. But yeah, that's me as an old man. So don't use the Face app apparently, because apparently it was created by Russians. And yeah, I look a lot younger now. This is I look a lot different when I dye my hair. But you know how I know this is bullshit? Because I'm gonna have a huge full head of hair like when I'm 100. Like everybody in my family does. So yeah, buddy. Anything else to talk about? Brief update. Trader Cobb. I never did go through his course. I started to, but I just kept like dozing. It's like he knows his stuff and he's really good, but I felt like I have to get to the meat and potatoes right away. I don't care about theory. I don't care about history. I just want to learn what the hell I'm here to learn, and it makes it really difficult for me because everybody wants to do the same stuff because they want to kind of like, make everything as informative and educational as possible. I'm not like that. I'm a Cliff Notes guy. Tell me the meat and potatoes. If I want to learn everything else, I'll find it. Or keep it separate or something. It's like I love War Machine, but it's going. I've been painting these guys. I got a whole bunch of these guys. Really hard to see them. They look like hell in this light. I'm not done with them, but I'm getting them going. It's what I do every night. I listen to stuff. I listen to podcasts. I listen to Joe Rogan, and I paint models. I'm probably going to go to Gen Con in August, and I'm looking forward to that. I've never been to Gen Con, believe it or not. What's going on with Go Chain? Bro, what's up with that exchange? As far as the exchange, you guys, I'm gonna have a private beta launch soon, and the private beta launch is gonna be a little different, so they will know, like you guys will know when it's ready to go live, and then we're gonna launch the STO. The STO will be available for US people, but only accredited people. So there's going to be a lot with that. I actually have to sit down and like map out specifically what I'm allowed to say, what I'm not allowed to say, all that stuff about the STO and what all it is entailed and how it's all going to work and all that other stuff. We've got this huge like PPM document that explains everything in grave detail, and it's crazy. So that's all coming really soon. Go Chain, I'm still waiting. I'm waiting. Jason Decker told me it was going to be 2 or 3 weeks before he would have everything ready to announce on my channel. But he said that I would be the first to be able to have him on and disclose everything happening. So hopefully it all works out for him. So yeah, how long have I been on? Wow, I've been on over an hour. Holy moly. So let me look at even a lot of weird. What's Ren? Been on a pretty steady incline. Heard of this? A decentralized dark pool for trustless cross-chain atomic trading of cryptocurrencies. Alrighty then. Ren is a token based on Ethereum blockchain. The most actual price for one Ren is 12 cents. Ren is listed on 6 exchanges. Interesting. Binance, B, IDEX, IDEX, BDDEX, Hibernate. No volume on most of this. 95% of all the volume. I tell you what, I'm expecting to have Crow's Nest X ready to go long before September. So everybody that plans to jump ship from Binance, the only problem, I mean, realistically, and just so you guys know to keep things realistic, Crow's Nest X isn't going to be anything like a Binance. I'm not going to have every shitcoin out there on the market. We're not going to be doing all. I mean, it's basically going to be a place for people to accumulate like the top 5 coins out there. It's going to be very similar to CoinBase. So just know that, like, you're not going to be able to. What coins are you going to have? Basically, the plan is Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, Stellar Lumens, Ripple. Can't remember. I might be missing something. I can't remember. But yeah, like, I'm not gonna have, like, there is a lot of stuff that I want. Obviously, I want Cardano to be on there, but we're gonna have to wait. Excuse me. It's late. It's 11 o'clock now. But it's getting late. We're waiting, obviously, for proof of stake and all of that stuff, and maybe the main 10. I mean, look, I want to carry as many different projects as possible, but ultimately it's going to be up to the lawyer. Crow Trader update. I did get an update from the developer. It's coming. He got a lot of stuff done, but he did just start a new job in New York, and he basically had to take this job to get the medical insurance for his family, which I totally understand. And then he got sick, so he's still trying to recover from that while he's working on this. I expect to see it this week at some point, and you'll be able to use the bot on Crow Trader. The thing of it is right now you can only trade with Bitcoin pairs. I need to be able to trade with USD Tether pairs or some sort of stablecoin pairs on these exchanges, and so that's one of the big things that I told him. I'm like, this has to happen, because Bitcoin, trying to use an automated trading bot right now with a Bitcoin as your trading pair, you're not going to do squat. It has to either be US dollar or some sort of stable coin, because there's just not enough volatility in the altcoin market to get those crossovers. So I have to be able to trade with my bot. Once that's done, then I'm going to get it cranking. So look, I'm gonna go ahead and chill and call it an evening. I don't think everyone wants to listen to me ramble for hours and hours. I'm not that special, but I am getting tired. So probably gonna listen to some other stuff here for another hour or so while I paint some models, chill out, and get myself good and tired so I can go to bed. So I love you guys, and I'll talk to you again soon, and hopefully with some really cool and fun updates very near future. Grow your coins, guys, and I'll see you again soon.